What's up, YouTube? Kedgris here. This is my match preview for Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. This match is going to be taking place at the City Ground on Sunday, May 10th. And I know, especially for a lot of people who had hope of going to the final, that we're not feeling good right now. We're feeling down. And going in this match, you really don't want to really watch it that much. But I will be watching. I will be doing a watch along because as disappointing as that semifinal was for us, this is my club, and I gotta support them, even when it hurts. That's what relationships are about. Gotta be there for the high times and the low times. So I'm rambling. My bad. Let's get into it. So, starting with Newcastle United, Lewis Miley has been ruled out for the season. He sustained an injury in practice or training, whatever you want to call it, on Tuesday, and he's going to be done for the season. He's out. Kraft, still long-term injury. He is out. Tino Livramento has also been ruled out. But apparently, he's been running. He's been running on grass. And Fabian Schär is also out for the season. So they got 4 injuries. And honestly, I was looking at their team. A lot of these are fullbacks. I'm kind of curious why fullbacks seem to be injured so much for them. That's something that maybe Eddie Howe needs to look at. But otherwise, they're coming in this game energized. They have had a week off, and we're coming off a devastating loss against Aston Villa. I'm stuttering. I need to stop. And I think they can get something, or they think they can get something. So, moving to Nottingham Forest, I think a lot of people were disturbed by the players we had on the bench for the Aston Villa game. I know a lot of people were calling for MGW to come on, but I've always said, as much as you love the club, you need to realize that even if these players are millionaires, they're human too. And I don't want to be putting another human being in a situation where they could maybe make an injury worse that could affect them for the rest of their life. Because, there is a life after football. Footballers usually peak around their mid 30s, as in they're done by then, unless you're athletic freaks like Ronaldo. So take care of your body, is what I say to any athlete, and protect yourself. As much as it sucks sometimes, they do have to live with that body for the rest of their life. But moving to Forest, Calvert-Lewin out for the season, Victor out for the season, Savona out for the season. I will be doing an end of season once everything is kind of wrapped up, buy, keep, or sell for what I think the club should do in the summer. Also, haven't made a decision on Pereira yet. I was kind of leaning towards keeping him before the semifinal. Now I'm kind of back on being upright on that fence sitting. So, Murillo, I don't know what's going on with him, but according to Pereira, he just can't play. So, Aina out, Ndoye out, Sangari out, Callum Hope, Murillo out. I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to play this guessing game when I do my lineup. So, I'm just going to assume Murillo's out, Sangari's out, Ndoye's out, Aina's out, and Morgan Gibbs-White is out. He did say Ndoye could come back maybe, but for the rest of them are pretty much on skates. Abbott, 6 days for concussion protocol. He got injured on Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Technically, he's not supposed to be back, but you can kind of fudge the process a little bit to get him back if you really want to push it. I would recommend not pushing it. He's not an essential piece of the team. He's a lovely piece, and I love him to death, but he's not essential, so I would protect him. And then obviously Willie Bolly is out as well. So a lot of injuries. A lot. 10 to 4. Not good. Ooh. But you got to play with what you got. Moving to the Newcastle lineup, I think based on their injuries, who they have available, and what Eddie Howe seems to be doing, this is probably what the team's going to look like. Dan Burn at left back, obviously with Lewis Hall, Tiro Livramento, and Miley injured. Burn is the only left back option. Botman, Tiao in the middle. Shar is injured. Trippier on the right because they don't have a right back. Fullbacks, bro. Anyways, Tonali, Guimaraes, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joelinton, I think, will make up the midfield. There's some debate on Joelinton. Some people say it should be Willock, and then you start Harvey Barnes at left wing. Or some people are saying you start Joelinton because he's good at Forest at the City Ground traditionally, and then you play Harvey Barnes because he's in goal scoring form. But a lot of people want Willock to play with Osula because of the chemistry. So it's a conundrum, and these two positions right here, Willock and Joelinton, could very well be different. But I think the rest of the team is pretty much locked in. Murphy, he's the guy over Alanga, unfortunately for Alanga. And Osula is getting the shout ahead of Voltamata and Yvonne Wisa, which is really interesting because the amount of money they paid for those two strikers is insane. I guess it's the tail end of the season, so you kind of just want to see what you got with Osula, but really a weird situation at Newcastle. And they have our old sporting director in Ross Wilson, so you'd think these kind of things would have been cleared up. I don't know. But Pope's in goal, and it's a strong team, to be honest. It really is. You know, this midfield three is the midfield three that everyone has been praising the last couple of years. So, could we get a good performance? Could we get a run out? Their issue is scoring, honestly. Like, I'm looking at this, and their scoring is not very strong. Like, Oslo, yeah, he scored some goals lately, but I don't know. That just seems weak to me. I don't think Oslo is that good. I don't rate him. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it will be interesting. I'm going to be curious how they play these two positions. Moving to Nottingham Forest, I played with the idea of rotating a little bit more, especially after the final. But at the end of the day, if it was me, I would actually put those players back out there. I'd be like, you know what? You guys play like stanky shit. Uh, Go out there and take out your anger, frustration. Go and show the fans at the city ground that you feel bad about what happened. So I would put out the same lineup. I put out Wood, Igor Jesus, McAtee, Hutchinson, Dominguez, Anderson, Williams, Milinkovic. I would put Cunha instead of Morato because Luka Netz is not eligible to play in the Europa League. You can play him at left back, which is where I would play him. And then Cunha would play at left center back. Morato, you're fine. I think he's a decent backup. I kind of want to try him at the 10, bro. I'm really not the 10, the 6. I'm really starting to think about this. They played Aston Villa played Lindelof at the 6, and I kind of want to. I've been thinking about that lately, a lot. But I digress. The only other thing I was contemplating was Taiwo Awoniyi. Do you play him? I think you could. I still know who you'd play him with. You can't really play him with Wood. It doesn't really work because they're both out and out strikers. So the only person you could play him with was Igor. So would you play Taiwo over Wood? I could see an argument for it, honestly, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. But like I said, I just put these guys out here, basically the lineup, because I think that they have something that they need to prove to themselves and to the fans on Sunday. So, what is the score going to be between Newcastle and Forest? I gave it a lot of thought. Newcastle are starting to come into a certain type of form. Not really, but kind of. We just got thumped. Will will the players respond? Will Pereira get the right response from our players? That's the thing. Newcastle traditionally are not that good at the City Ground, although we've been kind of smacked up by them before. Um, what do I think the score is going to be? Dang, that's a hard one. This could go so many ways, but I think I'm going to put some faith in the players and Pereira that they're going to bounce back, that they're going to want to come here and show something. I know it's only 2 days of rest, and then they just played on Monday and then played the semifinal on Thursday, but I think they're going to attack this with something to prove, and then they'll have a week off before they play again. So for me, I'm going to say 2-1 Nottingham Forest. I think the struggles of Newcastle to score are going to rear their ugly head in this game. I think they will have decent midfield control, but that's what we kind of want. We don't really want the ball. And these players have something to prove, have something to show, and Luka Nets and possibly Taiwo Awoniyi could affect the game. And they need to show that they're about it, honestly. Like, show that they, in front of the City Ground crowd, that they're still invested, that they care about the club, and that the performance at the semifinal against Aston Villa is not who they are and who they want to be. So, thanks, guys. If you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me your score prediction. I thought 2-1 is probably slightly positive, but I have to back the players. So, and at the end of the day, guys, it hurts, it sucks, but it's football. So, come on, you Reds.